So at the beginning of this year, FDA has updated the package insert for Axicabtagene Ciloleucel, or Yescarta, that now allows the use of prophylactic Dexamethasone, which could be given on the day of the infusion, day 1 and day 2. This is based on the clinical trial results from the original registration study, ZUMA-1, that had a safety expansion cohort 6, in which this management was given to a patient. And we had seen on that cohort that the incidence of more severe cytokine release syndromes and neurologic toxicities were significantly reduced, but the efficacy of CAR-T was not negatively impacted. Where we will also see data from long-term follow-up of this cohort at ASH this year. What we wanted to find out as a center was how did the CAR-T treatment centers across the U.S. view that data, and how much of this has been adopted into the real-world practice. Surprisingly, when we interviewed a number of sites, and we did receive response from 17 centers across the U.S., many of these are high-volume CAR-T centers in the country. There's really quite a wide variability in how the providers review that data. And in fact, on average, there's only about half of the center that has adopted this practice in some form, including some centers that are using this for all of their patients, and some centers are only using this for a select subset of patients. So it's interesting to see how this data was viewed and adopted in real-world practice. We're also presenting some very early preliminary data of the patients being treated with the FDA-approved axi-cel, including those that did and did not receive prophylactic Dex. Now, these are very, very early results, so we're not necessarily seeing any difference in signal in terms of any safety concerns or efficacy from what's seen on a clinical trial, but all the centers do have intent to have additional data on these patients and with longer follow-up. I think this would be a very nice and important set of data to complement the cohort 6 data set. As part of the concerns or criticism was that this was a relatively small data set of 40 patients, and so, should the data be viewed with caution? So I think the real-world data hopefully will provide additional evidence for the providers in how they consider management of their patients.